Welcome to the Intuitive Rising podcast. I'm your host, Amy Brooks. This is a podcast that invites you to remember who you are, return to yourself, and rise into your highest and best soul self. Every week, I will be sharing inspiring conversations about topics that hold keys to your awakening. My mission as an international evidential psychic medium, Reiki practitioner, and intuitive mentor is to help you rise into who you were born to be. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Intuitive Rising podcast. I am your host, Amy Brooks, and very excited for this episode for you to listen and for me to be a part of. I'm really excited. I have to tell you, Krystle. Krystle is our guest here today, Krystle McKenna, who is an intuitive energy healer and a newly minted Reiki practitioner. Good for you. So well suited for that. And Krystle has come on in a past episode, so some of you will be familiar with her. And we talked a lot about kind of differences and similarities between shamanic principles and practices and shamanic journeying and mediumship. So that was a really interesting conversation. I invite you to go back and listen. I'll put it in the show notes if you missed out on that episode. Tonight, though, this is so divinely timed, I feel. So I think that it was probably about a month or more ago that we kind of talked about doing this, and you kindly offered coming on to do a healing session on myself, and I was like, amazing. And so we booked it for right now, which when we're listening to this, we will be in the future. This will air in November. We are in October right now. And it is so exactly what I need for right now. Moving through the energy. This is a doozy. I know you've been feeling it too.
Yes.
We're in between eclipses. We've got all this stuff going on. There's just a lot energetically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that the general population is feeling it. But, if you're kind of on the spectrum of highly sensitive, you may be feeling it even more. And I know our kiddos are feeling it and all the things.
Yes.
So we're here today to do a healing session. So I'm going to pass it over to my guest, Krystle, and she is going to tell us what that entails and what that is all about.
Thanks, Amy. Okay,
You're welcome.
For a healing session with me, it might be a little bit different than maybe somebody would expect for, example, a Reiki session, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there to tell you how you need to be healed. My role is to provide guidance and coaching you through your own healing. So what that kind of looks like, so it's very collaborative. So it'll be kind of an organic conversation utilizing the tools and practices that I know. My intent is always to provide others with the tools to heal themselves and empower them to heal themselves through their intuitive gifts. Mm-hmm. Or if they don't have, very well established intuitive gifts, provide them with those types of things, right? Mm-hmm. So what that might look like, depending on the person, it could be a guided journey, right? A guided shamanic journey. We could also have just something come through from spirit to me, like a kind of topic or something. And then we would organically kind of talk about that and see maybe what comes up for you for those types of things. Mm-hmm. Could start with an oracle pull even. So there's lots of different ways. The intent is for it to be collaborative and organically kind of flow through. I'm the no plan kind of girl. So it's totally off the cuff. It's for the person and what they need in the moment, unless they have something very specific they'd like to get healed. And generally, I just let spirit guide me. So
amazing. Yeah. I love this. Okay.
So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to center myself first. So I think I'm going to set an intention for us now. Amy, you didn't specifically want anything particular for this healing. So first of all, I think I'm going to, do we need a protective bubble? Okay, so I'm going to kind of put this protective bubble around us. I see it as kind of a yellow glow. It looks kind of like gentle sunshine. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to invite our spirit guides, spirit animals, any entities or beings that can help in this healing for Amy's highest good and highest vibration, you may enter the circle. Anyone who is not here for Amy's highest good and highest vibration, we would not like you to enter the circle, please. And I'm going to set the intention for this. Spirit, we don't have any specific topics or healing that Amy would like, but we surrender to your guidance and to what you believe Amy needs right now in the moment. Our intention is for her to be healed today and for any specific guidance to come through. I think I'm feeling a little bit woozy, a little bit like up here. I think that we need to ground. So I'm going to lead us through just a little grounding exercise. All right. Your feet are on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the chair or the seat underneath your bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You feel your feet pressed against the ground, your arms on your chair arms or on your lap. You feel the breath in your body, breathing in and out. In and out. Picture these roots that gently go down through the floor, down into like the rich, deep, dark soil beneath your feet. And they spread down, down deep and out. So you have a base that is solid and deep. Another deep breath. Another one. All right. I'm going to ask Spirit, my guides as well. Is there anything specific, any specific topic, any specific tool that we need to use today? All right. So I'm hearing the word journey, and I've been hearing this all day. So I kind of expected this is what was going to happen. So what is going to happen right now is I'm going to do a guided journey. This is a journey that I utilize a lot. We'll probably go down to the lower world, I think, in the world tree. I know we talked about this in the last episode. And this is how I usually enter a shamanic journey whenever I utilize this tool. So if you just want to close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Now picture a forest. What kind of trees are around you? What's under your feet? Are the leaves fallen? Is there brush or dried sticks and trees? Moss, stones? What time of day is it? What can you smell? What can you hear? You look ahead of you and you see this little deer path kind of winding its way through the forest. Follow the path to its end. At the end of the path, the trees start to thin, and you come to a clearing in the wood. In this clearing is the largest tree you have ever seen. So large that there is a door in its trunk. What kind of tree is it? Is there anything in the clearing? Now, Amy, do you see anything in the clearing?
I saw two animals.
Okay. What animals did you see?
The first one I saw was a fox.
A fox, okay.
And the second one I saw was a deer.
A deer.
And there was also, I feel like there was also reference to a porcupine that just kind of comes in right now, which is kind of unusual, but I do want to mention it.
Now, was the deer male or female?
Female.
Female? Okay. Okay. All right. Do you see anything else in the clearing?
I see like insects kind of fluttering around me. So, you know, those little white butterflies that are like, I don't know if they're
the cabbage ones. Yeah.
The little white ones. They're kind of all around, and there's also big, juicy bumblebees flying around me.
White butterflies and bumblebees. All right. So now, what kind of tree has the door?
It was a willow tree.
It's a willow tree. Oh, interesting.
So I had to like climb under the kind of umbrella of the leaves.
Okay. All right. So I want you to go to the door. What does the door look like?
It's red.
Red, a red door.
Yeah, and it's rounded at the top.
Okay. All right. We're going to go through the door.
Okay.
Inside the door, there's a landing space. Is it wood? Is it tile?
It's stone.
It's stone? Okay. Like river stone?
Yeah, like slate, I guess. Like dark stone. Yeah.
Is there anything in this like entryway that you can see?
There's nothing like on the sides or on the ground, but in front of me I can see a staircase.
Okay, that's exactly where we're going to go.
Okay.
So we're going to go down the staircase, spinning down, down, down deep, down to the roots of the tree. And when you get to the bottom, there's going to be another landing, but there's not going to be a door. It's just going to be open. And this is the entry to the lower world. So I'd like you to step through the door, and I'd like you to tell me what you see.
It's interesting. So as I was like going down the stairs, they were spiral, and I kept seeing like a dragon kind of circling around me, as if it was kind of coming along with me, like a protector, which is interesting.
What color?
It's green.
Green.
And again, it feels female.
Okay.
So as I'm kind of on this landing, I see like a big stone, I guess it would be a hearth. And there's fire burning in it. This is like a dark room.
And do you see the doorway, or is the only thing there the hearth?
It's like I go through the doorway, and then there's this big open room, and just right in front of me is the hearth with the fire, and it feels warm.
Is there anywhere to sit?
There is like something soft on the ground that I can sit on.
In front of the fire? Do you see any other chairs or tables or anything like that in the room?
No, I just see this like soft rug or blanket, and then there's these things to kind of, I guess, like prop your head up on maybe, and I know that they are made of, feels like almost like a beanbag.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's like that kind of weighty, like it's weighted. It's almost like this room is big, but it feels small because it feels like I'm kind of tucked in it.
Cozy.
It's cozy and it's dark.
Do you feel
it's
safe?
Warm. Yes.
You feel safe. Do you feel any presences or anything in the room?
I see this like a very small presence that's kind of on the left-hand side of the hearth. It's like a little gnome or something.
Okay.
It's small, like it might be like to my knees.
Gnome or a fairy?
It could be a fairy. I just intuitively wanted to say gnome. Yeah.
Okay. Is he motioning to you? Does he want to speak to you? Does he want to interact with you in some way?
I feel like he does want to interact, but it's like he just keeps like peeking like around the corner. It's interesting because when I was outside and I saw the fox was kind of like dipping, like it was high grass, you know, like kind of like a meadow or wildflowers, and it was like almost kind of playing peekaboo where it's like under and then up and under, and that's the kind of playfulness that I feel with this gnome as well. Like I feel like he's trying to get my attention.
Why don't you just ask him to come sit with you and see if he has anything to say?
Okay, so I feel like kind of a shyness, but like he comes over. Okay. He's sitting like kind of in front of me to my left.
Does he have a name?
So random, but I'm going to go with the first thing that comes to my head. What's Bowie? It's so random. That's what I hear is Bowie. I'm like, okay.
Okay. Does he perhaps have a message for you? Does he just want to talk?
So he comes through and he makes me feel like there are things that I'm not opening up to, or things that I'm holding myself back from. He keeps making me feel like it's safe and I want you to feel safe. And I feel like he kind of makes me feel like this is why he kind of didn't come charging forward. He just kind of peeked and then kind of came over slowly because he didn't want to frighten me. There's like this energy of like, you're safe here. So he makes me feel like there's a lot of things that I'm afraid of.
So, Spirit just mentioned that this is a place that you can visit anytime. This is a place that is safe for you. And I think I heard that this is a place where you can sit with your guides if needed. Like this is kind of like a safe space to have a conversation. And I believe, Bowie, this is kind of like Bowie's home. And I'm feeling that there's more to explore here for you. Like different rooms, even maybe outside, that will be revealed in time. Is Bowie going to be a temporary guide for Amy? No. A permanent one? Yep. Okay. Spirit. So my main guide Iris is saying that Bowie's going to be a permanent guide for you. Does that feel aligned? Yeah.
He's very childlike,
very playful. Yeah. And maybe there's a message in that. How have you been feeling? Have you been feeling playful lately?
No.
It's does it have to do with that feeling of safety?
I think so.
Yeah. Is there anything else that he maybe wants to offer as a tool or help for you?
He keeps going like towards my ears. I just feel like he is talking about whispering, and like clairaudience, and I just feel like that's a way that he's going to make contact with me.
Okay.
Is like whispering.
Oh.
It's interesting because it's like all connecting back to this, like, I don't want to startle you.
Okay.
Like it's very soft.
You have ADHD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have problems with auditory noises?
Yeah, and I'm also hard of hearing.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. I have a hearing aid that I don't wear.
Oh, really?
I have 20% hearing in one ear because of recurrent ear infections as a child. Yeah, it is interesting.
Is there an invitation perhaps to try wearing it for a while?
Maybe. You know why I don't wear it? Is because it doesn't help me, like, it doesn't help with the crispness of what they're saying. It's just all of a sudden I'm aware of all the background noise.
Which
and
is
I'm just like, that's too much.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't, which is maybe why he's whispering, because he knows that all bothers me.
Yeah. Because I personally do have problems with auditory stuff too. So I'm wondering if it has to do with maybe the fact that you do get kind of overwhelmed with those extra noises and that extra kind of thing. Have you been feeling like there's a lot of that lately? Like have things been kind of overwhelming?
It's funny because one of my, I think, biggest triggers is like a lot of noise.
Yes.
Or if like more than one person's talking to me, or like there's music on and somebody's asking about this and, this is happening. It's like that really stresses me out. Yeah. It's too much. But it's interesting because I really feel like Bowie is connected to my inner child and to childhood and to trauma. And something that I've never really put too much, like, there's been a lot of like emotional things that I can think about when I think about childhood things, but the stuff with my ears, I don't know if I ever really connected how traumatic that would be.
Yeah.
Like, I've had so many surgeries, and I had a major surgery when I was 15.
Yeah.
On my eardrum. Like, my eardrum basically doesn't look like an eardrum anymore.
Okay.
So maybe there's some emotional, like there's some trauma connected to.
Well, I would think there would be possibly even trauma around like not being like everybody else too, right? Right? Like there's the not being able to hear everything that everybody hears. There is the fact that you had to go through a bunch of surgeries, and the fact that you're different, right? So yeah. I'm getting a little bit. So his whispering and saying that you're protected and you're safe is a way for you maybe to explore those things, right? That's very interesting. Is there anything else that he would like to offer?
He's like putting this very heavy, I don't know if it's a blanket, but something very heavy on me. He's talking about calming my nervous system.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Yeah. That's probably a good tool that you could try, right? Whenever you're getting into those overwhelm moments.
Like a weighted blanket or something.
Yeah. That's great. I'm just going to see if Spirit has anything or my guides have anything else that they want to add. No, they're saying no. So, does Bowie have anything else to offer Amy before we leave? No. I think he's providing an invitation to come back, though. This is something for you to.
That's exactly what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's something for you to explore. And I think that once you go through these different rooms, it will kind of evolve. Your healing will kind of evolve like a petal, like a flower kind of opening up. You know what I mean? It's going to be, this isn't the first, like, this isn't a done is what I'm getting, right? This is something that needs to kind of
an invitation,
gently unfold. Yeah.
And he was so gentle with me, right? He kept saying, I don't want to startle you. It's almost like I don't want to like push you too much.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Bowie, for your guidance. And I'm sure that Amy is very thankful as well.
Yes,
thank you. We are going to head back up the stairs, Amy. You're going to get back up on the landing, the stone landing, and out the door into the clearing again. So this is the middle world, and I know you saw a couple of animals or anything. I just wanted to give you an opportunity. Maybe the animals have a message for you as well. So why don't you look around and see if you have anything or feel any connection to any one of them, or even one of the insects or something like that.
Okay. The first thing I'm noticing is that it's nighttime when I come out.
Yeah.
It wasn't when I went in.
That's very normal.
Okay, it's the animal that kind of popped in that I kind of felt like, oh, interesting that you're here. It was like a porcupine, yeah.
So porcupine is protection.
Yeah.
They have their quills. They have, the outside protection, but they're also very soft, right? And very slow.
I know.
And they kind of wish they don't really have a care in the world, really. You know what I mean? They just kind of plod their way along, and they have their protection. So
and know that they're protected.
And
I think that's what his message is like you're safe to move through the world at your own speed.
Yeah.
And remain soft inside, but also knowing that nothing's gonna hurt you because you're protected.
Yeah. Oh, good.
That's what he gives me. I know. I feel like I want to cry when we talk about the porcupine. Like I really do. Because as soon as we went back to him, I'm like, oh, this is symbolic of so many things.
For sure.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
For sure. Okay. So as long as no other animals want to, I kind of see Fox peeking out a little bit.
It's playful. Yeah.
He's being playful. Yeah. I think that there's a message in that too, though, the playfulness, because you've got Bowie, who's playful, right? And the fox, who was playful when you started and when you came out. So I think something to keep in mind when you're kind of exploring this some more is it doesn't have to be, heavy. It can be playful, right? You can be playful about it and look at it in a playful way. So, all right.
No, what I was going to say is right before this session, I had a shower and I was thinking about some things, and I kept reflecting on a conversation I had earlier today about how it's okay to let things be easy. Yeah. And not everything has to be hard. And not everything has to be stressful and challenging in order for you to feel like, oh, I've earned this.
Yeah.
Like some things are just easy, and to allow it. And I feel like that's connected with this fox, which that I got this tattoo, right, of the fox. And anytime he shows up, like he is connected to my inner child and helping me reclaim that playfulness.
Yeah. It's so funny. I had the similar conversation with one of my friends lately about working on and evolving in my intuitive gifts and how it's been really, really hard. And she's like, approach it from joy, because I had been saying that when I first started on this spiritual journey, everything was so exuberant and happy, and there was just so much to explore. And so, you know what I mean? And she's like, if you don't feel that way, find it, live your life from joy, which is such a beautiful message, right? Oh man. All right. We're going to finish up this up. So, we're going to walk through the clearing and, back through the forest again. You said it's nighttime now. Is there anything else that you see before we leave the,
I can hear a lot of things. And then I could hear a frog. And then I was able to see a frog. I almost like stepped on him.
Oh, boys.
But he was like there.
Frogs are good luck, I think. I'll have to look it up. I
Interesting.
think they are.
Yeah,
I'll have
because
to, I
it's like
have
I
my
almost
animal book.
stepped on him, and then I was like, "Oops, sorry," and it was like, "Oh, good," like it felt interesting. Okay, okay,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
So
that's it.
that's it. Okay. So we'll just take a minute and kind of like center ourselves again, because we were lots of energy that moved in that, right? Just take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. Okay. Let me open your eyes. Just take a minute. So I want to say before we kind of get into the more conversation, that is not usually how those things go.
What do you mean?
You are a very intuitive person. So in some cases, like you were actually opening your eyes and like talking to me like normal. That's a very shamanic thing to do, like coming in and out of that type of journey that way. A lot of people that I've kind of done this with, I guide them along and kind of provide them clarity sometimes as they're kind of going through the journey, but usually they're really deep and they don't remember much once they're finished. I have to kind of write stuff down. So this was very interesting because with somebody as intuitive as you, I really liked it.
Awesome. Yeah, I can go in and out. Like I open, close, and yeah, it's something I discovered too recently. Like the last time I did a mediumship demonstration with another medium, and we were kind of like, rather than channel together, we took turns.
Yeah.
And the other medium had mentioned to me, it's amazing because it's like you can disconnect while I'm reading, and then you can just like jump back in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm very similar.
I can do that.
That's always the way I've done my journeys, and everybody else was like, "That's so weird." I'm like, "I don't know. That's just the way I do it." Right? It was really great. My mentor was really great about developing your gifts in a way that is right for you, which instead of being kind of like in the box, which I think is really great because then it really allows you to really develop something that is like so authentically you. So
yeah.
So I did write down a couple of things.
Okay.
I wrote down the fox, the female deer, the porcupine. I think we kind of got that. We had white butterflies, bumblebees.
Yeah.
Willow tree is another thing. And the fact that the door was red and kind of rounded. I'm interested about the dragon too, the green dragon. I feel like there's something in that. And that one, again, you said it was protection. I'm just going to do a quick search on green dragons, spirituality.
And do you know what I'm hearing in this moment? I know that this is like potentially a goddess. And I'm wondering if there's a connection to dragons with this goddess, but I kept hearing green Terra. Do you know what green Terra is?
Oh, yeah, I do. Here, just wait. I'm going to pull it up. Green Terra and dragons. Oh, actually, there's actually a green something that came up was a green Terra dragon bangle, as in like she is a dragon like in it.
Ooh,
interesting.
Yeah, I mean they could be two separate messages, and like green Terra was here, but also this green dragon. But
that's interesting. Let's see what green dragons spiritual meaning.
Yeah, it's circled like very quickly around me, and the staircase was a spiral, and it like went like this as we went down.
So it connects the human spirit with nature and life and focuses on healing, rest, prosperity, and harmony. And it's a balance between mind, body, and soul is what this says. So
for the green dragon?
Green dragon.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that the spiral, the first thing that comes to mind is DNA. Like, you know, we have the helix. Right? Which is very in the body, right? And that kind of connection as you're going down the stairs is like middle world is your body being in your body, right? The lower world is like healing and kind of like almost like deep in your root chakra. You know what I mean?
So were we in the lower world with Bowie?
Yes, that's where we were.
Okay. So that's connected to body or no? Middle world?
Yeah, it's like very rooted. It's like where you would find like mostly spirit animals. You know what? That's based on like the, the spiritual or like the shamanic practices that I've read. It can be like, animals. You can do like fairies and stuff like that down there. But I mean, it really is different for everybody. Like I've met like, gods and goddesses down there as well. I've met gods and goddesses up in the upper world, and generally what they say is like higher kind of beings, like goddesses, deities, whatever, usually up in the higher world. And then like more earthy things like trees, animals, some of the lower kind of fairy type of things like gnomes and fairies and witches and stuff you would kind of like meet down in the lower world. But I think it really depends. I don't like I said, I don't like being in a box.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting too, like that this room felt like a cave almost.
Generally, the lower world is meant for kind of more high, like healing, like emotional healing. I would say that the upper world can be emotional healing, but it's more linked to like the upper chakras, and then the lower world is kind of with the lower chakras.
Yeah. And like the root chakra, does that not have to do with like safety and security? So would it make sense that, childhood traumas and things would come up?
Yeah, very much so. Like, in the lower world, a lot of like, mostly I meet with my lower chakra guides down in the lower world. In my upper chakra guides, I usually meet in the upper world. So although they kind of move around, I do have this one central space in the lower world called the tower. And basically it's where there's like a kind of communal space kind of on the top level of the lower world, like on this tower that's kind of like almost like the middle between the lower and upper. So everybody kind of meets in this one meeting space. So yeah, that was so cool. So I think there's quite a bit of stuff there. I wonder what frog means. I'm going to get my spirit animal book. Just a second.
Does the red door
Sorry?
Does the red door to you like mean anything?
So red, the color red to me is like anger. So I do this really cool color map sometimes with people where you look at it or you think about a color and then whatever pops up for you, like words pop up with you, you write down those words that are associated with that color. So for instance, red for me is like fire, anger, kind of like fiery personality. It has desert connotations. Like there's a lot of stuff that kind of it is for me. So I guess what the question is what does red mean to you?
Well, all of those things too. Sorry, I have a tickle all of a sudden, of course. But it's interesting too because the only thing in that room other than a blanket and a pillow was a fire.
Yeah.
And when I was outside and you were saying like, what can you hear? What can you smell? What do you see? I could smell burning wood. I could smell fire.
Oh.
So I think that's maybe all connected somehow.
Okay.
With red. I'll get personal here because I have got personal on my podcast before. A lot of my inner child healing is connected to relationship with father. And I feel like that's connected to this, it's connected to fire in the sense that is the way that my dad, like that's one of the main spirit signs from my dad is that I smell burning wood, or if I have a reading with somebody else, they'll go, I smell burning wood. I think your father's here. So I feel like that's kind of something to do with him, potentially, something to explore. A little bit.
Does the playfulness also kind of like, do you have kind of a wounding with regards to playfulness with your father?
I think so, in the sense that I felt like I grew up very fast.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to be
play.
as playful.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt a lot, very similar. Are you the oldest child?
I'm the oldest child by
Yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Frog.
Yeah.
So this is the Pocket Guide to Spirit Animals by Stephen Farmer.
Mm-hmm.
It says, do an emotional cleanse by letting yourself really feel your emotions and cry as much as you need in order to clear and release any emotional toxicity. Singing or chanting out loud will help you feel more balanced, at peace, and connected to the divine. You're entering into a time of plenty and abundance. This is a start of a slow and steady transformation process for you, a movement from old life to a new one.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear the frog during the daytime, it will rain very soon.
It was nighttime though, remember?
I know it was nighttime.
And I think it's interesting that I almost stepped on him, but I didn't. Do you think that's, I like that feels, I don't know what the message there is.
That generally, when you, for me anyway, what happens whenever I go into the lower world journey and it's daytime, and when I come out at nighttime, that's kind of signaling a change started. You know what I mean? Like you've kind of come from day to night. So it's kind of like an evolution of the healing for you. So this is like, you've now kind of got an open wound, and you're going to progressively kind of have to kind of work with it, I think. So just warning you.
No, it's okay. I know that these are the things that stand in the way of, you know, what I want and what I need, and what I have, you know, what my goals are. These are the things that stand in the way. Because I really wanted to cry when Bowie came forward and he said, you know, there are things that you're not dealing with. Like there's things that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know, like I felt very emotional when I heard that.
So when we first started, you said that you've been feeling like there's something going on right now, that you're kind of like in this kind of upset. Do you think now that you've gone through this journey, do you see connection to like all the energy that's kind of flowing right now for you? Yeah. You want to maybe just
it will just like, I mean, just the energy lately, like I just feel a lot of emotional highs and lows. And it's interesting, like I feel a lot of anger, but like it's not directed at anyone or anything. It's just kind of anger.
Okay.
And a word, and like I did a Instagram live right before I came on here with you, and I did a card pull, and I'll share the card pull with you because I think it really makes sense. And there's a word that's been floating around a lot for me, and it's avoidance. And what are you avoiding? Well, the card pull that I did before is from the Wisdom of the Oracle, and it is the regeneration card. And so it literally is like a tree growing out of what looks like ashes, like fire.
Don't frogs regenerate limbs?
Do they?
I think they might.
Regeneration is something I really need to contemplate. I feel like the word, and like what does that mean for me? And like regrowth and a new evolution is like, to regenerate, something has to go away or something has to die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it says in this book, when you're to call on frog when you're in the midst of any life change, whether small or large, and you need emotional sustenance and strength to go through it in a fluid and graceful way. It also says when you feel intimidated or hesitant about honestly stating your thoughts, feelings, or opinions to someone, or if you simply feel overwhelmed with negativity and want to clear it up. So all of those things, you almost stepped on him, and it sounds like that's kind of like everything that you're going on right now for you. So yeah,
so interesting. That's wild.
So I usually give homework.
Okay. No, I'm good. I like homework.
So I've written down a couple of the different like things that you have seen during the stuff that kind of stuck out to me. I think you should go and kind of start looking up their spiritual meanings, maybe do some asking of your guides on what they think it means. Maybe even visit Bowie again. You can utilize that same journey to get back to where you were. I use that all the time. Like that's one of my main journeys that I do. I usually do the tree in the meadow. So yeah, and that's kind of it. I mean, generally I would spend about 90 minutes. We would kind of do this stuff, and then we'd kind of just talk it through and see if any other wisdom came up. So I'm going to ask right now.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you would like to offer Amy at this time? I hear prosperity, protection, reciprocity. I'm not sure why. Reciprocity. Reciprocity to me means almost like, it's that reciprocal relationship. So what you give out, you get back. I also, there's something about the ears too, about what he said about the ears. And it's not just like emotional, it's physical too. Like if you're feeling like what came to my mind whenever we were talking about that was those loop earplugs. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that like they kind of like just kind of funnel what needs to be heard. But I don't know how that would work with you if you've got hearing loss. So, but there's something physical around it about some release, perhaps. Yeah, some type of release that has to happen with the ears. Anything else? No, that's it. That's it for my guides.
Okay. Interesting. You said prosperity, and when you talked about the frog, you said plenty and abundance.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. It came from the first book, I think. So it feels like, that's what's ahead of me. And these are the things that may be potentially blocking it from coming fully in.
Yeah.
So more play.
Yeah.
And I feel like just kind of like the only way to like there are a lot of ways that I can make myself feel safe and secure.
Yes.
But I feel like a lot of this has to do with feeling safe and secure, like out of my inner world.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's what we're talking about. Like the inputs to ears, right, is all external, right? It's external coming in. So you have ways to protect you here, but you're also safe out here too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. I felt like my guides were being cheeky because they're talking about like selective hearing.
That's just how moms survive.
Right? I agree. So I'm gonna like kind of dive deeper in the porcupine, green Terra, the dragon, the red door.
Yeah, I wrote down fox, and then we talked about fox. Also, there was a female deer.
Yeah.
You saw white butterflies and bumblebees.
Yep.
The fact that your world tree is a willow tree is interesting as well. And then
is it?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, I've never heard of any. Well, I mean, mostly the like it's either oak or maple, or I have three actually. I have three world trees, and I kind of portal through different places in time and space through them. So I have a redwood, I have a poplar, and I have a big pine tree, I think, too. So
pine was what I was seeing, like when you were saying, like, what kind of trees do you see?
Yes.
As you're like, it was pine trees, and I could smell pine, and I could smell fire, and I could hear like kind of like a brook or something, water. But I feel like the willow is significant just because it's kind of like, it's almost like you have to enter.
It feels very like protected and secret and mystical almost. There's something kind of ethereal about it almost, or what's the word I'm looking for? Whimsical. It's very whimsical.
I want to tell you something interesting. So with our last baby, we had a boy, but we didn't know until, I delivered that he was a boy. So we had a boy and a girl name picked out. And we had the name Annabelle Willow picked out. And we were going to call her Anna, middle name Willow. And about a week before I delivered, I hadn't had a dream. Like normally with the other two kids, like dreamt of them all the time, very vividly. But I think because I set my intention that I didn't want to know what this one was, I didn't have any dreams, right? So it's just like nothing, no intuitive, nothing. But I had this dream about this baby girl who was a baby and was in her crib, but she could talk. And she said, "I'm not Anna, I'm Willow." And I was like, huh. Maybe we're having a girl and we should call her Willow. But then obviously I had a boy. And I've always kind of kept that in my mind. Like, what does that mean? Like, where did that come from? And very interestingly enough, my friend and fellow medium, Natasha, who I've done events with recently, she messaged me about a week ago and she's like, "I dreamt of you last night." And she said, like, her husband and her in this dream were babysitting a new baby that I had. So I had a new baby and it was a girl. And she's like, but it was like the size of an egg. And we like put it in the playpen, but it would like talk to us in full conversations, but it was an egg. And I was like, weird. And she's like, "It was so weird." And I'm like, like, I think I'm perimenopausal, but perhaps I really don't want any more babies right now. So I was kind of like, oh, interesting that it's an egg and it's talking to you. I don't know. It just kind of, the willow, like a willow tree, I just feel is so special and significant. So I love that came through.
Yeah. I did. As soon as you said willow, I was like, whoa, there's something there for sure. And then we talked about the dragon. We kind of talked about the dragon already. And I think that was it. That's everything that I wrote down anyway. So
yeah. Was it weird that there wasn't anything in the room?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think, to be honest, that he was trying to be slow with you because in most cases, when I've had, like, myself, when I enter the lower world, I enter the world. Like, I'm out in an open field and like I have the world.
You're not in like a cave room.
No,
with a fireplace
I have the world to explore. Yeah. So I really do think that eventually like I said, this is going to open up like petals on a flower very gently. And he is being very careful with you.
He is.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't like apprehensive. It was just like, I don't want to start. He kept saying, "I don't want to startle you." I was like, I'm not startled. Like, I connect to like this stuff all the time, but like not when it's about me. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I
so appreciate it. If someone would like to have a session with you, like I just experienced, how can they do that?
So, I mean, I do have a website that you can go on. I do offer single sessions. I also do a group healing session once a month too, on the first Thursday of every month. You can usually find that out through my subscription, my newsletter. So you could contact me on Instagram too. Just DM me if you're interested in doing one, or by email. So
thank you so much. And I'll put all that information in the show notes. So that was so beautiful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Was it what you expected?
I don't know if I had any expectations. I did just kind of like open myself up. I opened my intention. I wanted to be an open book. So if something came in that was like deep, I was okay with it.
Okay.
So it's still interesting that he was kind of being slow with me, even though I was like, "I'm an open book, like whatever you want to give me." But he's still like, "I know you better than that. Like I'm going to give you a little bit at a time." Because honestly, I feel like I've made a lot of headway in terms of my own awareness and healing about myself, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that still has not been unpacked. That has not been, that I don't have awareness of.
And I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, I had a thought, and remind me before we leave. I want to let the spirits go, so just remind me, just so I don't forget. But about the willow, about that willow thing, and the baby or the girl, I there's something in that, whether it's a new a new guide. Apollo, my sacral guide, is saying yes, a new guide. But there might be a relationship to Bowie. Yeah, I'm getting another yes. There might be a relationship with Bowie and Willow. So,
like an actual baby or person, or somehow connected.
Yeah, or just spiritually, right? Like an actual spirit guide. She might be someone you meet in one of the rooms, is kind of what I'm getting.
It's interesting because I've often thought of her as like a spirit baby, but like not one that I've conceived.
Okay.
But one that's been around.
It could also, and another thought that I had was inner child as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it's cool too in the moment, like where we would have potentially called her Willow and our last name is Brooks, and I saw a willow tree and I heard of Brooke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Willow Brooks. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, one day when I have this like old house in the country with like a tree lined entryway, the sign, it will be called Willow Brooks.
Nice.
I don't know.
I'm just going to take a minute, and I'm going to thank all of the spirits and spirit animals and entities and beings who are here with us for this healing. I want to show you gratitude. Thank you very much. I release you from the circle. The circle is now finished. And I also want to show gratitude to Spirit for guidance and healing that it provides us every day. Thank you. Ooh, this was good. This was a good one.
It was really good. And you know what? It's interesting. It's like, I know that I have throat chakra stuff, okay? My throat is like, I want to constantly cough since we've done this.
Oh, really? So there's something you're holding back. Yeah.
Like, how many times have I done that?
Yeah.
Since, but it wasn't during.
Nope.
It's just since.
Yes.
And I'm like consciously aware of like, why do I feel like there's something in my throat and I need to purge it, like not in a vomit way, but like in a coughing way.
I would do some Reiki on it later. You have Reiki too, don't you?
Yeah.
Do some Reiki on it. You might release something. Mm-hmm. I can send some to you now.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I didn't cough during it.
I know.
It was weird. It felt like it was like it's weird because it's very clearly on the right side. So I was thinking about that as well.
Masculine.
With the right. Yeah.
The masculine side. Yeah. Does it feel a little better?
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot. I didn't do it for very long. You might want to do, like a 5-minute,
Yeah. No, the word I kept hearing as you were doing this was de-escalating. Like I could feel it kind of shrink a little bit. So it's still there, but it's not irritating me.
My forehead just got really hot.
Did it?
Yeah. I just all of a sudden got really hot. I'm getting something beamed here for me, I think. I think I needed a little bit of healing myself. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much.
I know we ran
always a pleasure. That's okay. No, that's okay. I think people are interested in seeing what real life, sessions are, and different various types of readings and practitioners and what that can look like. And so I thank you so much.
Oh, I thank you. Thank you for having me on and letting me practice.
Of course.
Too.
I feel like this will help someone listening as well, or even, in the process of listening.
Always.
Another person could also be laying down and listening to this. Listeners, if you're listening, you can start this over again, go in a quiet place, listen to Krystle's voice, and do the journey, kind of pause when I start talking.
Yeah.
And see what comes up for you.
Yeah.
So it's it's a gift for everyone.
I can actually write up the journey for you, and if you want to put it in the show notes too, then people can if they
that would be amazing.
Yeah. If they don't I mean, sometimes it's easier when someone's vocally guiding you, but the way I did it, I learned how to do it was from a visualization in a book. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The gift that keeps on giving. So beautiful. Go book a session with Krystle.
I would love to meet you.
Yeah. So healing, so amazing. I mean, look, if this is not like proof that things like energy healing works, I mean, I've stopped coughing. I don't even feel the tickle anymore. I'm like, what? It's wild. I don't even feel the tickle anymore.
So that's great. I'm
And
so
it was
glad.
irritating me. I was drinking tea and water and I was like, oh my God, why wouldn't it go away? And it would not stop.
I literally just got attuned yesterday, so I'm probably pretty like right now. So yeah.
Worked. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Bye.
If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider hopping on over to wherever you listen to your podcast and giving it a 5-star review. Thank you so much in advance. If you'd like to keep in touch, please head over to my website, theintuitiverising.com, to keep up with all the things that I have been doing. I also have a private Facebook community for people just like you. It's called the Intuitive Rising Community. All you gotta do is request to join and I will let you in. Keep rising.